I'm glad you're here. This is Tiffany, and she's glad you're here too. She's not very happy, doesn't like being woken up from naps. The reason I wanted you to meet Tiffany was because I want to read a letter she wrote to her previous owner. I adopted Tiffy when she was 3 years old, and a woman who had breast cancer owned her for the first 3 years of her life and then had to give her away because her chemotherapy treatments were too difficult. So she couldn't handle both Tiffany and chemo and surviving cancer. So she had to give up her dog, and it was extremely painful for her. She felt really guilty and of course grieved a lot over her decision. But I wanted to read the letter that Tiffany wrote her old previous owner. So Tiffany says, "Dear old Ma, I miss you, but I'm very happy and glad to be in my new home. I get lots of love and attention here. My new mama and papa don't have human kids to take care of, so I get all their attention. I have a big sister called Georgie, who's my other dog who's sleeping out there. But I have a big sister called Georgie, who is a dog like me. She's bigger, but not nearly as smart as I am. But she's showing me how to run and jump and play. You should see me now. I'm so fast, racing through the forest like a speeding bullet. I run and sniff and get to follow all sorts of exciting new paths that take me on fun adventures. I chase squirrels and raccoons and birds, but they're too fast for me. I don't care. I'm just so happy to run around after them. I feel big and brave in my new home, and when I bark, I am even bigger and braver." And Tiffany goes on to write more about her new life in her new home. You have decided to rehome your dog, or you've already given up your dog and you feel guilty or full of grief. I know how it feels. I've been there. I had to give up my dog. Her name was Jazz. She was a 75-pound black lab German Shepherd cross. I couldn't handle her. She was too big. She was untrained. We even called an obedience trainer. We did all that we could to keep Jazz, but we just couldn't. So the day that we decided to take Jazz back to the SPCA, my husband and I both cried. We cried and cried. It was awful. It was a horrible day, but I believe that Jazz went to a home that is better for her, a home with owners who could handle her and who knew how to take care of a big dog. If you're grieving and feeling guilty because you had to give up your dog, I just want you to know you are not alone and you will feel better. Some dog owners feel that their dogs aren't going to forgive them for giving them up, or that their dogs will never be happy, or their dogs are traumatized because of being rehomed. Your dog is adjusting and adapting to his or her new home. The good news is that rehomed and adopted dogs adjust quickly to their new environments. Dogs are survivors. The first thing that really helped me was writing a letter to my dog that I gave away. I wrote her a letter explaining why I had to give her away and how much I loved her and how hard it was to give her up. This helped me grieve and deal with the guilt because I was able to express how I felt in writing and really sort of apologize to my dog. Tip number 2 is to know that you made the best decision that you could. For whatever reason, right now, you can't have the dog. You can't live with your dog. You aren't able to take care of your dog. It's really hard. I totally understand. And it took me over a year to really let go of the grief. And I still think back to my old dog, Jazz, and I'm still sad and I'm sorry that I had to let her go. But I also know that we did the right thing at the time. and that's all we can do. The third tip is to know that your decision is bringing joy and happiness to another family. If the woman who had to give up our little dog Tiffany, if she didn't give Tiffy up, my husband and I wouldn't know the joy and the fun and the pain of owning a small little dog called Tiffany. So I'm kind of grateful that that woman had to give Tiffy up, because if she hadn't given her up, I never would have owned her. We now have 2 dogs because we found the dogs that were the right fit for us at the right time.